Okay, for this example here, we're going to be using a curves adjustment to lighten and darken various tones within the portrait. So the first thing that you basically want to ensure is to decide on which areas of the portrait you want to lighten and darken. So the example here, the shadows in the eyes are a little bit too dark. In the contrary, some areas in the shirt are a little bit too light. So what we'll do is make two different um, adjustments with using curves to make these changes. So we'll go to our adjustments layer, go to the curves dialog, and using the modify curve hand tool, we can then start to work with an area within the picture to lighten that up. So we'll kind of pull away some of those shadowed areas. That looks pretty good at this stage. Of course, the rest of the image is quite light at this stage. So what we'll end up doing is create a mask. So right next to the curves adjustment here, we'll click on the mask panel. That creates a curve that's located right here, and we want to invert that curve. So we can just simply click on the invert layer here, or go with the shortcut key Command I. Now we've inverted that whole mask right here of that layer. We will then use the brush tool to pull in some of the light values from that curve adjustment that we've made. We want to make sure that we have white as our top section here, black on the bottom. We can press the D key for default to default that, and then the X key to rotate back and forth if your white value is not at top. Well, at this stage we're at 25%, so we want to press the Command plus key to zoom in to get in quite close to our image. Use the spacebar to hand tool to draw that in. Using the brush tool, we can then lower this opacity somewhere around 20%. And at this stage, we can use the left or right bracket key to make the brush size larger. So we'll make the brush size somewhat small, and then just slowly bring in some of those lighter values back in these shadowed sections here of the eyes. A little bit more lightness here with the eyebrows as well. Looks like the lips can be a little bit more brighter at this stage here. We can then look at the visibility of this particular layer and see the before and after. That makes a world of a difference for those elements. Press the space bar to move to other sections within the picture. We can even lighten up some of the shadows located here as well as here. Okay. Press the Command minus button to go back to about 25%. Press the visibility. You can see the before and after. It's a very nice adjustment to that. On the opposite effect, we have the shirt a little bit too bright at this stage. The hair has a little bit too much light going here, so we can go the exact opposite and create a curves adjustment to darken things. So we can then go to the curves adjustment panel here, use the modification area here. We can then darken some of these shadows by dragging that down. That pulls down the rest of the elements of the picture as well, but that's okay because we can then at this stage use a mask, click on that mask, invert the mask as well, and then same thing as before, making sure that we have our paintbrush painting with white. We'll use the Command plus key to zoom in, and we'll increase the opacity a little bit more, maybe about 40%. And then we could start to bring in some of the darker values back in these highlights. And we're just a little bit too bright. And at this stage, we can look at the visibility of the before and after. That looks nice. Same area here within the shirt. We can then make the brush a little bit smaller. Maybe bring in a little bit of shadow in these areas to show some of the creases within the shirt as well. Some nice little bit elements of texture that's created here, just to pull in some more of that area of the fabric. Looking nice and good at this stage. Go back to Command minus to look at the before and after. Same thing with the lightening and darkening. So using the curves adjustment panel to modify tones within your portrait.